I bought another one. It doesn't run yet, but I feel like we can make it run. What do you think? Usually doesn't take that much to get one running. A little bit of gas, a little bit of oil, clean the fuel tank up. Not that big a deal, but you never know. We could end up building or rebuilding the carburetor. Possibly changing points. Don't know. That's the fun of it though, isn't it? Breaking into one and seeing what might pop up out of nowhere. Yeah, that's what I like too. My cat was sick, but he's all better. All right, let's look at it. We'll start at the back. We've got a older style hitch. It's the 2-bolt style that just attaches up here. And well, like I said, somebody's been welding on it, making some modifications, which I'm not gonna knock it. If you need to do something, make it work, well, do what you gotta do. The cross chains actually might be, yeah, I think I like that. The Sears system didn't use chains, it used flat bars as stabilizers. And I actually have a pair. I'll show them to you in a minute, I suppose. But we do have this going on. I'm going to remove this because you want some attention? You want some attention? You're a good boy. I'm a good boy. All right. But yeah, I'm going to remove that because I'm going to put the newer style 3-point on it. And maybe even some wheel weights. I don't know. But it all depends on how it runs. Yeah, we got a little bit of... I don't know if they had lights or radio or who knows what they had on it, but that's evidence of something. Gear shifter feels nice. Somebody left the key on. Don't know what's going on there. Okay. Looks like we rode with our foot right there and drug it along. That's pretty common. You drag your feet along the edges as you get on and off. After 50 years of mowing grass, I guess it's bound to happen. The front tires will leak down, but I can live with that. They hold air for a couple days. Somebody has cut the hood. If you're familiar with these, they kind of follow the curve of the dash. And I'm guessing that's to make room for whatever this was. Which, going from here all the way to there, makes me think, well, could have been a handlebar. Could have been a phone mount. It's hard to tell. But it's only on this side. Because when we come around the other side, we'll notice that we don't have that. But the biggest news is that this grill cone is completely undamaged. I mean, well, okay, I don't know what that is, but other than that, and if you, like I said, if you're familiar, you'll know that these are normally busted. But it's all complete. We got our screens. The headlights even work. Come to think of it, I haven't even noticed if, yeah, see, our headlights work. I haven't even thought to check our tail light. Shoot, even that works. Yeah, and it turns on with the switch too. And we got our gauge, throttle and choke, which they both move. And somebody help me out in the comments here. Is that original or is that an add-on? Because I don't remember there being a cigarette lighter on these models. I know that the blue ones had cigarette lighters, but I don't remember if these ones did or not. I would think that there'd be like a printed label here. Could be wrong, but all right. Let's come around the front. We've been hit right here. But otherwise I'm not seeing a lot of damage. What's peculiar is they had electrical tape to make a black stripe down everything. And I'm not exactly sure what they were thinking. Again, not going to judge on them. It's alright. It actually, like, especially right through here, it made for a nice accent. So I can't knock on them too much. This is either an original or a replacement seat. And despite being busted up, it's actually pretty comfortable. I've only sat on it once, but I could mow my yard with it. Yeah, steering, little stiff, but I think a little bit of grease changed that up. Let's get under here and see what's going on. All right. Yeah, like I said, not busted up near as I can tell. Doesn't even look like anybody's ever flung it open or anything. You know, they always bust right in here. Just, I don't know why they couldn't have continued this over or made a brace across here or something. I mean, we've wondered that since the day these things were made new. But we've got, well, we're gonna need to do something about that. Well, oh well. But this is how I found it, just sitting here like this. I love the green that Onan painted the inside. My other ss16 is like this, the one I got from my grandfather. I'm gonna make a video about that one day. But yeah, it's like this too. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and he and I both were wondering why air-cooled engine manufacturers started doing this. I don't know when Kohler started. I think it was with the later K series. But like even in '74 when this was made, they weren't doing it just yet, but Onan was. All that air from the fan blown into your air cleaner, is that like to guarantee fresh air gets to the engine? Is it to create pressure in here? I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm immensely curious. If you know, leave a comment. But they ain't got a lot going on under here, as most air-cooled engines. Running the original coil. We've been touching. Somebody's gotten a little hot. Guarantee you they just, because these look like newer plug wires than the machine. So somebody did a tune-up at some point and let that touch. I've made that mistake too. It happens. But like I said, see? Throttle cable moves nice and easy. Now the choke cable's a little sticky, but it's okay. A little bit of oil will fix that. We can bring that back around. We'll have to check this intake when we get to working on it. Probably going to be okay. It's better to leave well enough alone than it is to go monkeying with stuff. But they can leak. They are a two-piece. You see this right here? Let me get you in here close. That right there is a gasket between the top and bottom half. And after years and numerous heat cycles, that can start leaking, which means your Onan's only going to run right if you have it choked. It could cause surging. It can make it hard to start. It can make your wife leave you. It can make your truck not want to not want to run. You know, it can make all your friends talk about you behind their backs. I mean, it's a problem you want to get on top of. Well, we got oil. That's important. We'll start it on that and then change it. I think that's pretty standard at this point. So you're probably wondering about the gas tank. I know I am. I'm going to put this back together. And let's see. The camera may not pick it up. In fact, I almost guarantee the camera's not going to pick it up. Well, can you see in there? Nope. I can barely see in there, and it is rusty. We might have to take that off and clean that out. I think we're going to have to. But there's an ss16. So, looks like it'll run, honestly. Like, I've already put a battery in it just to see if it'll roll over. But I think it's going to run. Let's find out. Well, first thing I want to do is clean the fuel tank. And I'll show a little of that. I don't know how much I'm going to get on record. But I want to be able to drive the thing when I do get it running. So I'm going to take the fuel tank off, see if I can clean any rust out of it, and run a new fuel line up the frame up to the carburetor. So let's get busy doing that. Totally wasn't recorded several days later because of a camera failure. Totally. All right, to get to the fuel tank, we got to take this, and this off. And to make things easier, I'm going to take this 3-point hitch off, which I'm going to replace this hitch anyway because I don't like it. It might be for sale. I don't know, but I just pull some pins, and there were cotter pins down here, and that's what's supposed to be there, so don't panic. But I removed them because those were a fight, and I didn't want y'all to watch me embarrass myself on camera. I prefer to do that in person. It adds a nice flavor. But anyway, get this out of the way, and I'm gonna take these bolts out. Again, these are 3/4, and then that'll get this out of the way, which is good, because I'm gonna replace it with the bigger style 3-point if this thing runs good. Which I think it might, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, this piece is held on by these 1/4-20 bolts. Be a 7/16 wrench, except for apparently this one, which is a 3/8 metric, or well, okay, 10mm metric or 3/8. Either way, it took a different wrench. But they're supposed to be the same length, which they are not. Somebody's been here before me. That's what you get when something lasts this long. But anyway, I'm kind of hoping to show how this is removed. It's pretty simple. I'm not saying that it's impossible to figure out on your own. But like, if you want to know what you're getting into before you get into it, then well, I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to help. All right, the fuel tank. Can you see them? You can't see them. Let me get the camera in here. Ah, that's better. All right, fuel tank is held in by 4 bolts. There's 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. And I'll help you to see them by putting the electronic eye. One should be here, and one is still here. Those are going to be a bit of a curse word to get to, if I'm being honest. I don't exactly have a plan, and like my other ss16, this bolt is missing too because I had to pull the tank out of it because after 50 years they get rusty. Several days later, tank is back together, and well, we're really not much better off than we were, but I cleaned it, and this still works. The little float thing still works. I really can't believe it. Like, I put it back together and you see it's fine. We'll do it this way. You make the rules, I don't. But yeah, look, it's already starting to float. I mean, it ain't waterproof, nor is it spill proof, because, you know, there's a dome that's missing. But it works. Old stuff is neat. But we got new fuel line up to here. And let's just, I'm gonna take the top of the carburetor off and we'll do a little talking about that, and then we'll see if this fuel pump's gonna draw. All right, all these screws are loose, and I'll get you in here in just a second. But somebody's been here before me and they did a terrible job, and I'm gonna have to replace that float. This is the original style. It's made of like a foam material of some kind. Forgive the wind blowing in the background. It's windy here this Saturday morning. But yeah. They make a brass replacement. So I will see if I can't locate one of those. And this is where fuel should come out. This is a pulse pump. Briggs & Stratton uses them. Lots of brands actually use them. Your modern zero turns, your gas burners will have a little black disc thing. This works the exact same way. The crank pressures, the pistons going in and out, creates that pulse. So I'm gonna roll it over for a second or two. We're gonna see. I'll be watching this fuel filter here, and you keep an eye on that. Let's just see what happens. Normally, we'd have seen fuel by now. So, makes me think something's going on up in here. Normally you'd take the carburetor off, but for a opposed twin like this, you'd have to take your intake manifold off so you get access to the bottom screws. And I don't have these gaskets, so we're just gonna see what I can get done. But tune in just a second. All right, here's the internals. We have a spring, we have the middle piece, we have the gasket to pump, and then we have the actual diaphragm. This is what pulses back and forth when it's operating. It goes here, and then the spring sits on that, and then this cover goes on. And I don't see a whole lot wrong here. In fact, a lot of this looks recent, like that right there. So we do have this piece of trash here and debris all over it. So I'm gonna clean it up and put it back together and maybe even prime it a little bit. And I'm gonna check that little dimple right there. But I bet it'll start pumping. Sometimes you just have to get in there and refresh things. But all right, I'm gonna get busy doing that. All right, we are back together. Let's see what happens now. Hey, that's progress. All right, we have an update. We filled up our fuel filter. Already got bits of trash that my cleaning missed. This does not bode well for the future of my not changing fuel filters out. But anyway, you can clean these carburetors pretty easy. Just take your little handy dandy spray can, spray right there, spray right there, and spray right there. You spray around in here, and then that is your high-speed needle right down in there. So you'll turn it from right here. So what I've got going on is I'm soaking it in cleaner, and when that's done, I'm going to put the top back on and try to fire it up. So guys, if it doesn't run at this point, it'll be ignition related, which will put us towards this and this. The process is pretty simple. Do you have battery power here? Do you have it here? Do you know if the points are working? After that, it's a matter of, it's either points or this, if you have battery power. If you don't, then it's either the wire, but most likely it's the ignition switch. But that's a quick lesson in that. So in about an hour and a half, I'll come back and we'll see what's up. I'm excited to see it run. All right, it's been an hour. I've had it soaking in the cleaner stuff down here in the bottom. And yeah, a lot of that is loosened up. And y'all may think I'm crazy, but I'm just gonna let that mix with gasoline and burn. If it runs. If it runs. Let's put the top on. I actually have one of these gaskets, but I don't have a rebuild kit or anything else. Just one of these gaskets in a kit that sent me with two instead of one. So if this leaks for any reason, then we will replace it. But we won't know till we put it together. So I guess the only thing to do is this. And let's just go ahead and be completely careless and lose the float and the needle and let everything fall into the engine where it'll never be seen again. And yeah, all right. So this is, oh, by the way, somebody has definitely been here before me. Look at that and compare it to the very factory screw this. I mean, what are we even doing here? But I guess if it worked, I'm not going to argue with it for now. What I will probably do if this runs at all and I decide to keep it is I'll come back in with a maybe even a different carburetor body. Because I have a spare carburetor laying around somewhere that I pulled off of an engine that this cylinder had decided to slip the wrist pin in the piston and eat itself. So that wasn't fun. But anyway, all right. So that's done. I used to think these screwdrivers were dumb, but now that I've got one, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Does that screw even? Holy crap. All right. Just because it's ugly doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, look at me. All right. Guys, this is the moment of truth. Let's see. Get the tools off of it, everything out of the way. We've got cleaner in the bowl, chokes pulled, fuel system has pulled up. I don't know anything about the ignition system, so if it doesn't fire, that's what's next. Okay. She runs, and runs pretty good too, but as you can see, it wants to run with choke. About, I don't know, 80% closed. That's 100%, so I'd say that's about 80. Yeah, because that's about half right there. So basically what that means is the main jet is clogged. Now, sometimes that clears up just by running, especially when one's been sitting, but this almost 100% means that I need to put it in an ultrasonic cleaner and just let that do its thing. We also have the issue that we are leaking gasoline right there out of our main adjuster screw. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if there's an O-ring in there or not, but that is a problem for a later video, because this is just a will it start, and as you saw, it did exactly start. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put like 1 or 2 screws in the air cleaner and kind of button it up, because I want to know how it drives. I want to know how the transmission does. I want to know how the steering is. I mean, I just want to know. I also want to run it for a while to see what kind of trash we pick up in our fuel filter. So what I'm going to do is do that, and then we'll go for a test drive. And then at the end of the video, I'll tell you kind of what I got in mind for this machine, because I already have one of these. And, well, I don't like duplicate models, because see, that one is a 12, this is a 16. I have a 12 with a loader. So I don't exactly know what my plans are as far as whether I'll keep it or not, but I know what I'm going to do with it as far as attachments go. So let me get that done up. I'll switch this over to a different camera holder. We'll go for a ride. I'll let you listen to it and see it and all that. And yeah, then we'll talk about it. So 2 things. First, remember this guy? Yeah, no. Goodbye. I have got the old air filter from my own ss16 here. This is what they look like if they haven't been touched by time. And this one I don't even think is that old, because I don't think they had the foam back in the 70s. But this one is dirty too, but it is not rotting. Yikes. It will do better than that one though. So that goes in, and I don't know how I'm going to do that one-handed. So maybe this. That's how I'm going to do that one-handed. Anyway, but this should work as an air filter. And of course we got to put the top on it. Do y'all remember if there was a nut on there? No, I don't either. I don't remember if there was ever a nut on that. So I'm gonna have to find, I hope I've got a wing nut. If I don't, I got a plan. But anyway, that's on. This is done. Nothing's touching the exhaust. Oh, there is a bolt that's supposed to go here. But since I'm gonna take this carb right back off, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, secondly, I somehow lost the footage of me working on this gas tank. I had a video of putting some nuts in there and rolling it around and getting the big chunks of rust out. It's not on my camera. Nor is the I'm gonna put the gas tank back on footage, apparently. Which, to be honest, you didn't miss a whole lot. It's basically just these 3, and then I explained that you cannot get in here to put this nut back on. It's just, there's no room in the transmission tunnel, which is why it's missing on this one and my grandfather's. So, you know, that's food for thought. Anyway, all right. So air filter, hood down, check the oil again after the first start, and let's go for a ride. All right. How are you going to do now that you're all dressed up and official? It appears to have died. Woo! Okay, I like this one. It pushes easy. Well, the test drive didn't exactly, well, you saw what happened, but it needs a carb. The fuel pump is no longer pulling fuel, and I have verified that it's not blocked from the tank up, because when I put a little bit of compressed air in, fuel comes out. So when I took the top off of the carb and rolled the motor over, it didn't pulse like it did earlier in the video. So something's happened in the fuel pump. Could be a piece of debris. Diaphragm could have failed. I don't know, but I already know that it needs a carb kit, and I know that it needs an ultrasonic cleaning. So I'm gonna get busy ordering parts, because I want to put a mowing deck on it and possibly a newer 3-point. I'm gonna have to cut that trailer ball off because somebody's welded that structure on there for a trailer ball, which, well, I'll take that off in good time. But I know for a fact I'm gonna put a 48-inch mowing deck on it, and I'm probably gonna cut my yard with it a couple of times and just kind of see how it goes from there. If a machine isn't going to run for 40, 50 minutes at 3,000 RPM and take the varying loads of mowing grass, then it probably isn't going to work for other types of jobs like grading the driveway, running a sickle, snow blower, or anything else that I might put on this machine. So that'll be its ultimate like break-in test to wake it back up and let everything with the rings set, circulate the oil, which I do need to do an oil change on it while it's hot, which I don't have the oil, so, well, guess we're gonna have to fix the carb first. But it's gonna get an oil change, it's gonna get a mowing deck, and I'll probably do a video of that. I'll do like a part 2 of setting up my new ss16 for what I'm gonna do with it. So stay tuned for that. It may not come soon because I've got my zero turn that I want to do a video on, and parts are going to start showing up in the next few days for it. And I know this is a Gart'n tractor channel, but bear with me. Just bear with me. My zero turn technically counts. So I'll tell you about that in that video. But I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any thoughts, absolutely comment. Feel free to subscribe if you if you want to. I know I'm a small channel. And by small, I mean teeny. I mean like little bitty. But I'm wanting to grow it. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Gart'n tractor related content. Now look, we talked about this. I need you to run. I don't like pushing you. You actually roll pretty easy, but I'm lazy. Like, I'm lazy, okay? So like, I need you to work. I need you to run. You're good. You're good. You're a very good machine. But like, I need you to come back to life. I know. Your previous owner left you in a barn. I'm sorry. I'm not them though. I will take care of you. I'm also going to put you to work. So, but yeah, no, like you and me are going to spend a lot of time together, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be nothing but sunshine and rainbow.